If we don't do it, China or Russia will. It's not going to happen. We are not going to have, and I like China. I like Russia. I love the people of China. I love the people of Russia. I get along very well with President Putin, but I'm very disappointed in him. I get along very well with President Xi. I'm going to go over to China in April, but I don't want them as a neighbor in Greenland. Not going to happen.
Take a look at this map of Greenland if you want to understand why Trump wants to take it over so badly. Trump says that it's all about national security.
We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic.
But that's not the full story. The US doesn't need to take over Greenland for national security at all. The US already has military installations in Greenland, and Greenland is governed by Denmark, a NATO ally. Greenland, like Venezuela, has significant oil and mineral wealth that Trump wants. Greenland has massive deposits of rare earth minerals that the United States currently has to depend on China for. Resources that US tech and energy companies would love to get their hands on as they seek to massively expand and profit off of artificial intelligence. And the US government thinks that Greenland likely has large oil and gas deposits off its coastline, but the government of Greenland has stopped giving out licenses for oil and gas exploration. And recently they stopped a lot of mining exploration too, due to environmental concerns. So if Greenland was in US hands, these roadblocks to US companies would disappear. Companies working in Greenland are already seeing a boost at the suggestion of US control. Critical metals and energy transition minerals stock both jumped over 25% just this week.
When Donald Trump says he wants Greenland for national security, that sounds serious, but it's not the real reason.
Are you thinking of getting people in Greenland to get them on board with a possible U.S.
I'm not talking about money for Greenland yet. I might talk about that. But right now, we are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor.
The United States already has military bases in Greenland. Denmark controls the territory and is a NATO ally. There's no security emergency. What is urgent is money and resources. Greenland sits on massive rare earth minerals the US depends on China for. These minerals power artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, weapons systems, and data centers. Greenland also likely has large oil and gas reserves offshore. Greenland's government has blocked new mining and fossil fuel projects because of environmental concerns. If the US controlled Greenland, those restrictions could disappear overnight. This isn't about protecting Americans or Greenlanders. It's about corporations, billionaires, and who controls the resources that would dominate the global economy.
I would like to make a deal, the easy way, but if we don't do it the easy way, we're going to do it the hard way. And by the way, I'm a fan of Denmark too, I have to tell you, and they've been very nice to me. I'm a big fan, but the fact that they had a boat land there 500 years ago doesn't mean that they own the land. I'm sure we had lots of boats go there also, but we need that because if you take a look outside of Greenland right now, there are Russian destroyers, there are Chinese destroyers and bigger. There are Russian submarines all over the place. We're not going to have Russia or China occupy Greenland, and that's what they're going to do if we don't. So we're going to be doing something with Greenland, either the nice way or the more difficult way.
To understand the Greenland push, don't listen to politicians. Follow the investors. Mining and energy stocks tied to Greenland jumped the moment Trump started talking again. Billionaires like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates are already backing companies with mining rights there. Thiel and Marc Andreessen are pushing for a deregulated tech zone in Greenland. This isn't coincidence. Greenland has the minerals big tech needs to expand AI, cloud computing, and energy infrastructure. The fewer environmental rules, the faster the profits. That's why this pressure keeps growing. Not because Denmark failed, not because Russia or China are about to invade, but because Greenland is one of the last untapped resource frontiers on Earth. This is corporate geopolitics dressed up as national security.
I guess my advice to European leaders and anybody else would be to take the president of the United States seriously. What has he said about Greenland? Set to the side the crazy overreactions that I've seen from the press and from certain people in Europe. What has the president said? Number one, Greenland is really important, not just to America's missile defense, but to the world's missile defense. Number two, we know that there are hostile adversaries that have shown a lot of interest in that particular territory, that particular slice of the world. So what we're asking our European friends to do is to take the security of that landmass more seriously, because if they're not, the United States is going to have to do something about it. What that is, I'll leave that to the president as we continue to engage in diplomacy with our European friends and everybody on this particular topic.
Greenland isn't just about Greenland. It's a preview of how global power works in 2026. When a territory has resources the superpowers want, sovereignty becomes optional.
What I'm trying to let everyone know is this is still just the beginning. It's going to get worse and worse. I really believe that if we stay on the track that we're on in the process of seeing billions of deaths, not millions of deaths, but billions with a B. That because we're going to start seeing crop failures. We're going to start seeing increasing famines. I mean, it's sad to be talking about this like this. Then we're going to see like the undermining of geopolitical stability. Your average white person in the United States feels like it can't happen here, and they're wrong.
Yeah,
they're completely wrong. Yes, like I think extreme heat will get worse in the subcontinent first, but it's going to get bad everywhere around the whole planet, including in the United States. There's going to be, I think in our lifetimes, maybe even relatively soon, we will start seeing heat waves with death tolls in the millions.
Leaders talk about defense, but the real fight is over minerals, energy, and control of the future economy. Greenland's people didn't ask for this, neither did Denmark. But pressure is building fast, and it's coming from the top levels of US politics and Silicon Valley. If this strategy succeeds in Greenland, it won't stop there. This is how resource wars begin in the modern world, quietly, legally, and in the name of security. And Greenland is just the opening move.
I don't like to talk about him because he spoiled my sleep, or they do. Yeah, I don't sleep very well because I'm afraid. They have no respect for us, for my country, or for our country. So,
what I think is he wants the Greenlandic minerals to pay off the national debt of United States. That's what I think.
I think people are really scared in Greenland.
Yeah, I've seen quite few who were concerned.
I dreamt about him last night. Nightmare. That he was coming with the ship. It was awful, that dream. So I'm scared.
What the reasons behind it, we don't get it, really. So it's so peaceful and calm here, and he says that Denmark is not protecting Greenland from what, and there's been a collaboration with the USA for many years. So it's not all of the sudden, but it's really aggressive now, and it's getting kind of annoying.